Shot clock down to 7. Back out to Sissoko. Lost his balance and turns it over. Under a minute to go. Deuce, you got to be impressed with the defense here in the first quarter by Charlotte.
Yeah, and that's one aspect that they have been preaching. And of course, I think any young coach is going to come into an organization that hasn't played much defense over the years and preach that. But that's something at the start of practice here in Sacramento that they've been talking about communication, staying engaged, deflections, and we're seeing that early on.
Vasilevsky almost wedged that one. Under a minute to go, Simpson. Little ghost screen by Slater. McConnell sprays it out to the corner. Pristine ball movement. That jumper wet. And the Hornets continue to cook, leading 23-9. Nelson Jr. almost got ripped. Boy, they are out there like hungry dogs right now. Ravenous at the defensive end. Vasilevsky couldn't keep it in bounds. It'll be Hornets basketball.
And look at this energy. They're looking like it's a playoff game, like it's game 7, but for some of those guys, that's what it feels like is a game 7. You love seeing that. I remember the Hornets being here on the floor, multiple efforts. Charles Lee has to love what he's seeing.
Trying to impress the new head coach. Makes the call from the sidelines, calls out 1-4 flat. Simpson out top. Hornets in the middle of an 11-0 run. They can run it all the way down. Now a high ball screen for Slater. Got an open look. Vasilevsky quickly up court. Milner will count. And that's the end of the first 10 minutes of play here at Golden One Center. The Hornets impressive under first in the first of 2 here this evening. The team that won just 21 games a season ago, nowhere to go but up for the Hornets. And they're going up right now.
From Sacramento to Las Vegas, too. 113 today. I was looking at Vegas 116 as Stevens showing the range. Yeah, Stevens shown, Mark, that he can shoot the 3. He did that really well his final year in college.
26-9. Charlotte has been dominant. That's going to be a foul against the Hornets. Going to go against Michigan. Played 4 years. Was undrafted in 2020. He's actually the oldest player on the Summer League roster for the Hornets. Vasilevsky. Tough shot comes off. Here's McConnell. Battle open from the wing, and they convert another 3-ball. Battle on the board with his first field goal. Charlotte incredibly shooting 7 of 15 from deep. Whistle and 1, count it. Slick move inside by Jameer Nelson Jr.
And Mark, this is good for the Spurs to go through a little bit. I'm sure they can.
Sure.
Let's see how these guys are going to battle through it. You had some fun camp, and now you're playing a real game. What are you going to do when you're down 29-11? You're shooting 4 of 25. You got to keep battling.
Down 29-11 as Jameer Nelson Jr. stepped to the free throw line. Spent a couple of years at George Washington University. 2 years at Delaware before transferring to TCU. And we're going to have a lane violation against the Spurs as Vasilevsky stepped over the line. Simpson out front, knocks down another jumper, and the beat goes on for the Hornets. Shooting 50% from the field. And that's going to be an offensive foul against the Spurs. Vasilevsky is going to pick up his second personal foul. Simpson off that high ball screen again. Steps back for three. Loose ball corralled. And then it comes off to the Hornets. Nice dime inside. Slater smoked the layup. Spurs into the front court. Loose ball out of bounds. It'll stay San Antonio basketball.
Nice poke away there. I'm glad they're letting. You want to put guys in different spots in the summer league.
Nice back tap there. Nelson Jr. That three rims halfway down and out. Well, Simpson really good at pressing tempo. Stevens with another clean look. Ball out of bounds, and it'll be San Antonio basketball. A host of subs coming in for the Hornets. Almost looked like a line change. 3 new players in the ball game for Charlotte. Here's Nelson Jr. Ingram, the Spurs' second-round pick, has been relatively silent so far. Nice show and go. Good help defense inside, and the Hornets come up with the steal. Leaky Black.
Yeah, Black's an outstanding defensive player. He starts knocking down a jumper, he's going to last in the league.
Gowans had that hook come off. San Antonio's got to start making some shots, though. Now just 4 of 26 from the field. Nelson Jr. got to the mid-range and cashed out. Stunned like his daddy that time. Using that ball screen well. Pocket pass inside. Stevens had it knocked away. Milner.
That was great defense there by Adalovich to come out and help and strip Stevens. It looked like he was going to have an easy jam.
Here's Adalovich. He didn't miss a shot in warm-up, and the beat goes on for him, Deuce. We watched him knock down, had to be about 12, 15 threes in a row. And the shooter does what he does best. The Spurs trying to mount a little bit of a charge when we come back to Golden One Center right after this break. Tonight, featuring Sacramento, and going to get a good look at Keon Ellis, one of the featured players for Sacramento.
He was so big for the Kings last year when he got inserted in the starting lineup due to injury. The Kings defense shifted once he got the opportunity, and now he gets a chance to play in his 3rd season here in the Summer League.
That's a big games down the stretch for Sacramento. I'll be on the call with Morgan Reagan and former San Jose State player Sophia Jones. That's the second half of our doubleheader. Sissoko inbounds it to Nelson Jr. Under 6.5 to go here in the first half. Nelson Jr. off that 45 action. Cross court. Ward too strong, and he with the rebound. Hamidou Gueye has been a nice strong presence for the Hornets at both ends of the floor. Tough shot and a soft touch by Smith Jr.
This is a really good opportunity for him. We talk about his 1 year at Arkansas where he didn't play a ton of games, and now he's going to be out here handling the ball more and showing what he can do.
Putting on a nice show so far. McGowan's left that one short. Spurs looking to run, but the Hornets back defensively in transition. Ingram into the corner, and there's the second one in a row for Adalovich. He's Adalovich out of University of Pacific, the Tigers.
Just up the road, too. He played high school ball at Vista del Lago in Folsom. So maybe he feels at home.
Yeah, nice to see the local product do well. I'm sure he had to come up with a bunch of tickets for this game, and if he keeps shooting like this tonight, Deuce, he'll need some more for tomorrow's games.
And he's diving on the floor on the other end.
Shot 40% from downtown when undrafted last year. Played last season with the Austin Spurs. His dad, Mark, played tennis at UC Santa Barbara. Athletic lineage always helps. Ward controls for the Spurs off the tip. Great change of pace, but couldn't catch. McGowan's. Nice pass inside. Gee through the contact. And a tough finish. He's the leading scorer with 10 points.
Great energy out there from Guy, and he's got some NBA experience too, G League experience, and he's looking comfortable out there.
Into the corner. Another long jumper. This one doesn't fall, but another opportunity. Guy draws the hit and puts some more muscle in his hustle. He'll have an opportunity for a three-point play. We have a timeout on the floor with Charlotte continuing to dominate early. Spurs looking for some answers when we come back to Golden One Center. Stick around.
Scored tonight, but he actually didn't play high school basketball his junior or senior season. Instead, he served as the Curtis High School first chair for violin. A teammate of his put a mixtape of his AAU basketball opportunity to play at Monroe College, then Stony Brook, then where he finished his career at Pittsburgh. He spent the last 2 years in the G League, and now he's having a standout performance tonight so far.
Did I hear violin, Deuce?
I wish I could have that type of skill.
There are no musical instruments in my background. Although right now the Hornets really playing a tune on the Spurs. Shot clock down to 4. They got to get busy here. Smith Jr. short and rebounded by San Antonio Sissoko. Ward on the fly. And Bouye couldn't convert.
Guy flew in there to change that too.
Got a whistle and a traveling violation against their top pick, Castle, out of UConn. So off the turnover, it'll be Charlotte basketball. They have a delay of game warning against Charlotte.
Guy played in the G League for most of last year. He was third in the G League in blocks per game, 2.4. And he's just flying out there.
Right.
I also like he's showing that he'll shoot it tonight too. Stretch the floor.
Tell you what, Deuce, you watch enough summer league basketball, you come to the realization that there are an immense number of immensely talented players around the globe, not in the NBA. Guy, testimony and a testament to that with another bucket. That one a 3, his second one of the game. He's up to 15. Bouye trying to answer, does. Amari Bouye of San Francisco played for the Dons, makes it 40-22 with under 3 minutes to go in the first half. And Bouye going to commit the foul on the wing. Remember, you need 10 fouls per period to get into the penalty.
It's crazy thinking about Guy. Sophia said he didn't play high school ball his junior and senior year.
Yeah.
Now he's in the NBA?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So many great stories that really speak to the wonderful scouting that a lot of teams have around the league. Smith Jr. draws the double. Leaky Black sprung a leak on the handle. And another Spurs turnover. That's their 8th of the game. 2:30 to go in the first half. Bouye, they left him open. He couldn't make them pay. And so with the rebound out to Castle, thought about it. Tough pass, made it to Mensah, and he got blocked by the ubiquitous Guy. He has been everywhere on the court. Smith Jr. for 3. And Bouye with the board.
And Castle passed up that three. I want him to take that. You know, he's got to be able to knock that down at the NBA level anyway. This is the time to take those shots.
Can't pass up many of those opportunities. And we have a hard foul underneath against Gee and Charlotte. And that's going to put Mensah out of center. Nice pass. Mensah played with the Hornets and the Greensboro Swarm last year on a two-way deal. Two-time Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Undrafted in the recent draft. San Antonio, though, just 8 of 38 from the field here in the first half.
Well, you can't get much worse than that.
No.
It can only go from here, you think.
It's about to go up, Deuce.
Well, the Hornets have just been flying, and just the extra effort out there. You know, you hear coaches talk about that, the multiple efforts, and you're seeing it from this Hornets team. They've been very engaged defensively, which is pretty encouraging for a group that's playing together really for the first time.
And we were talking about during the break that Brandon Miller, their all-rookie player, was here yesterday, worked out with the team, and then jumped on a flight. And right now is with USA Basketball's select team, much like the Sacramento Kings' Keegan Murray, who joined them yesterday as well.
Moments, especially at the end of last season. And got to a little bit of a slow start his rookie year. Is that shooting ability? He looks like he's going to be a really, really good player.
Yeah, he ended up putting up some impressive numbers as a rookie. 17.3 points per game on 37% shooting from the field at 6'8". Gives them a lot of versatility on the wing. He's one of the guys that Coach Lee told Sophia Jones he was working on with establishing an early relationship with. Key part for them moving forward. 17-point lead for the Hornets. Here's Smith Jr. Sneaks the screen. Steps back, a long two is short. And out of bounds, it'll be Spurs basketball. Coach Trevino makes the call from the sidelines. Let's see what head tap is for San Antonio. Castle, great dime inside for the slam to Mensah.
That was a perfect read by him. He saw Gee coming over, knew he could get a wraparound, and he did just that.
Maybe that'll get them in the right way offensively. He flashes to the free throw line. McGowan's 8 on the shot clock. Back out to Simpson. Working against Bouye. Black with the show and go. And a little bit of jelly at the rim. Counted and one.
Good decision there to attack that closeout. Go strong to the basket by Black.
So Leaky Black at the free throw line trying to complete the three-point play. Black out of North Carolina, two-time all-conference, all-defensive team member. Undrafted last year, knocks down the free throw. Now a little half-court trap look by Charles Lee and the Hornets. Boy, they've put a few things in, Deuce.
I love it.
They've been using their practice time.
And this is what you need to do. Experiment. Put your guys in different spots.
Castle shakes out of the corner and laces the three.
And that could do something for his confidence. We talked about him passing up one earlier. Launch it.
Coach probably said, if you pass up another one, you're going to sit next to me.
We've seen Mike Brown do that to Keegan Murray many times during his rookie year.
It's a great teaching tool. It's about a 10-second difference between the shot and game clock. Simpson out to Gee. He's had a hot hand. This one comes off. Smith Jr. missed the follow. 7 seconds to go. They've got numbers here. Out for the corner three, short. Another opportunity. Smith Jr. No, McGowan's with the block and the foul. So that's going to put San Antonio on the free throw line with 0.1 to play. That foul is going to go against McGowan's.
There's a pretty cute video with Harrison Ingram. He got the chance to meet Tim Duncan at the Spurs facility. Right after, he goes, "I'm not washing my hand for a year."
Yeah, the Dallas native met Tim Duncan, and that was, as it would be for a lot of people, quite the highlight. And that's going to be the end of the first half of play, with the Charlotte Hornets in control 43-29. But the Spurs showing life at the end of that first half, finishing the half on a 10-3 sprint. Mohamedou Gueye was the top performer for Charlotte. He was 6 of 8 from the field, at 15 points and 4 rebounds. And for more, let's go courtside to Sophia Jones.
You're looking really comfortable out there. It's your 3rd year. How have you been able to use some of your experience to have a very efficient and all-around game so far?
You know, I feel like this being my 3rd year, the game definitely slowed down for me. You know, just being around different teams, different players, different coaches, you know, gave me the experience to come out here and just know my role, play my game, you know, and just play at the pace that my team needs me to play. You know, I don't need to play rush or anything like that. So I think that helped me a lot.
You guys have held the Spurs to 25% field goal. What do you make of your guys' ability to impose your defensive will on the defensive?
You know, that was a message Coach put in from day one of Summer League training camp. You know, our defense, our intensity, our energy. You know, that's the thing that's going to win us the games. You know, offense is going to come. You know, we get steals, push the transition, but it starts all on defense. You know, so we're boarding it up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mohamedou Gueye with a big first half. 15 points, leading the way for Charlotte as they lead 43-29. Yes, the defense was the catalyst for the Hornets, and Gueye took care of a lot of things at the offensive end with 15 points, 4 rebounds. But the Spurs showing life. Mark Jones courtside along with Deuce Mason, Sophia Jones on the sidelines. Deuce, an interesting first half. After the opening tick, the Charlotte Hornets really took control of the game. And if you're trying to impress the first-year head coach, Charles Lee, they've done a really good job in doing that. They've been efficient at both ends of the court.
And I know for him, he's not going to care about missed shots, about playing the right way. I think offensively, they're playing with great pace. They're getting in the paint. They're moving the ball. And then defensively, they are flying everywhere. It's the multiple efforts. We've seen multiple times in the first half where they're diving on the floor for loose balls. That's the type of thing, if you're a first-year head coach, you love seeing that these guys are buying in right away. And
this is a team, keep in mind, that won just 21 games last year in the regular season, so there's a lot of improvement. The ceiling is high for the Charlotte Hornets. Let's take a look at some of the pertinent numbers and cogent stats from that first half of play. Charlotte really did a great job of limiting San Antonio's second chance opportunities. They guarded the ball well without fouling, which in part really reflects itself there on the stat sheet.
And that's really impressive, especially in the Summer League where you see guys get 10 fouls in a game. So defending out without fouling was key, those multiple efforts. And they did a great job. 24% shooting they held the Spurs to in that first half.
Well, the numbers were impressive for Charles Lee's crew. And when you look at some of the guys that have done well, we mentioned Mohamedou Gueye. There's some of the top scorers. Nick Smith Jr. had some moments of brilliance too in that first half as well. Xavier Simpson, how important was his pace, do you think, to what they did?
I think that's what's great about him as a vet. He knows how to play at the right pace. Good change of pace sometimes too, and he's got command of the floor. Another guy who has a lot of experience out there. He's done it at the G League level. He did it in college too. He's comfortable out there. And I think that's really important for a young team.
He's shown great dominion and control over the offense, and impressing not just his coaching staff, but whatever other scouts might be out there looking to sign a point guard. We're at halftime, 43-29, Hornets with the lead. We're going to take a short break and come right back. Video from the first half, controlled by Charlotte, and The big man, he's showing a lot of range, scoring at all three levels, Deuce.
He's doing it on both ends, too. And he talked about with Sophia, he's in his third year. The game's slowing down for him, and you see it out there. And if he's going to be able to knock down the three, he's going to have a spot in the NBA.
Especially when you look at his skill set, 6'9", wingspan, 7'4". I mean,
he blocked 3 shots in the first half and deterred a couple of more.
See what the Spurs can get done here in the third quarter play. It'll be Hornets basketball to start things off.
You think about someone like Stephon Castle, too, who had such a fun year at UConn and probably not used to being down like this in a game.
A lot of victories, not defeats for him, and we're going to have an offensive foul on the first possession against the Hornets. That's going to be against Gay. Bouye over to the wing. Sissoko showing him a lot of bodies, got to the rim in traffic and drew the hit. CD Sissoko out of France, 6'7", 230, going to the free throw line. Great to see him moving as well as he is, because a little over 6 weeks ago, he had a scope, a procedure on his knee. And Deuce, getting back and getting healthy, getting practice, getting good reps leading into Summer League is so important for a guy like him.
And you can tell he wanted to get back. They were anticipating he was going to play in Sacramento. They were talking about, okay, we'll get him going in Vegas. So practice has been going well for him. And, you know, he's a young guy. He understands how important these type of reps are for his game, to work on it. And they tested out. He's lost 20 pounds. He wants to see what it feels like out there.
He was one of 5 French-born rookies this past season. Wembanyama and Bilal Coulibaly, a couple of notable ones. Smith Jr. on the bounce, working against Castle. That's a tough guard, and boy, Smith Jr. put a clip on his mixtape with that move.
That was a beautiful spin move, and not an easy shot over a guy like Castle, who's really long. And how about Guy again?
Yes, great rim protection. Out to the wing for 3. That one a little bit strong, rebounded by Guy. Jump hook is off the mark. A good activity once again inside by him. Here's Bouye.
That was great defense on it by him on the other end, staying vertical on that contest.
Bouye float game, rims up, tipped up and in by Sissoko. Check that, that was Nathan Mensah. Blackout top to Simpson. In rhythm with a little bit of confidence, Guy had that one come off. You know, Castle's handle is a lot better than a lot of people might realize. Inside that body of his, I was speaking with a scout just a few moments ago, a little earlier today, talking about the fact that inside of that 6'6" body is a little bit of point guard.
And he's really confident in his ability. He says he wants to play more on ball. And I just think about the opportunity he's going to have to soak up the knowledge of Chris Paul, who signed with the Golden State Warriors after the Warriors let him go, or signed with the Spurs rather after the Warriors let him go. And that's going to be so big for his development.
Well, San Antonio bringing Chris Paul aboard. I'm already imagining a lot of scenarios where there's a Chris Paul lob off a flare back screen that goes to Wembanyama for a slam, right?
Hey, Chris Paul's gonna love that. He's gonna be racking up the assists, and there's no better guy to be connected with Victor Wembanyama.
Mensah with the slam. Let's go courtside to Sophia for more on Castle.
Talking about Castle, he's a member of the resurgence of UConn men's basketball. He won the recent NCAA championship and was actually 2024 Big East Freshman of the Year, unanimous. And he broke Carmelo Anthony's record for Big East Freshman of the Week, winning it 11 times. For him, it's also a transgenerational full circle moment. His father, Stacy, played at Wake Forest with another and great Spurs forward, Tim Duncan. Now, Stephon has a chance to play with potential Spurs great forward in Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, it's a great position for him to be in, Sophia. And Castle really belies his 19 years with his poise and his skill.
When you think about the coaching he got from Dan Hurley, and now he was one of the best college coaches, and now he gets to be with Greg Popovich. He'll be prepared.
That Spurs culture is as indelible as they come across the league. Leaky Black spins, pulls, got it, man. Leaky slick with it out of North Carolina. And Charlotte still in command, leading by 13. Leaky Black in the ball game now with 5 points. Amari Bouye on the bounce. Nice hezzy with the left, got it.
That's that vet move right there.
On the run out, Gee punching it home.
Run the floor, big man. They will find you, and he is everywhere tonight.
He has been the most impressive player, arguably, on the floor this evening so far. Couldn't get the landing gear down in time that time and took a hard fall on the foul. Maybe fouls. There he is at the offensive end, running the floor well, filling the lane. Sissoko going to go to the free throw line for Senate.
I'd like to see the Spurs team play with a little more pace, a little more decisive out there. It seems like the Hornets are really playing their style. They're getting up and down. Obviously, it helps when you get stops, but you got some young guns out there. Don't be afraid to push it a little bit.
Yeah. On the sideline, as you mentioned earlier, he started as the Spurs equipment manager, then video coordinator. Spurs have a way of keeping it Spurs. Simpson with the midi. A little bit strong. Bouye with the board. Comes off that nice drag screen. Great pocket pass. Tough shot, never made it. Bouye with great anticipation, but couldn't keep it in bounds. So good effort that time, and wonderful rim attack by Mensah. As Ward gets ready to come into the ball game for San Antonio. Charles Lee getting his first chance as a head coach on the sidelines for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, he's someone that's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. Went through interview processes with so many teams, and he's been a part of some really good teams with Boston and Milwaukee, and had a lot of responsibility, especially last year with Joe Mazzulla's staff.
You mentioned Joe Mazzulla. I spoke with him a little bit earlier today, and sauce. What is Coach Lee's secret sauce? He said his work ethic, team needs in any given moment, and building trust at a high level, and provides a whole bunch of positive energy and great strategy as well. So he checks a lot of boxes, as does Castle.
He said it too. He believes in the three-point shot, and he thought he could have had more opportunities last year, but they had some really good shooters on UConn. So he sacrificed, and here he is showing it, knocking down a couple now.
Smith couldn't connect on that corner three. McGowan got the rebound. Back out to Black. Raises up, sprays it out to McGowan's. Boy, he had 2 good looks and couldn't convert. Here's Bouye. Quickly up to Castle on the rim attack, draws the hit, and will go to the free throw line. So the rookie out of UConn, showing you why he's got a couple of championship rings.
Yeah, he's strong too. He plays physical. He drove that. He's taking that contact. Didn't shy away. He went strong. He'll go to the free throw line coming up.
And a bunch of other Kings that you've seen before. First round pick Devin Carter unavailable tonight.
They're really excited about Devin Carter, and I know you've seen him over the years as a youngster. His dad, Anthony Carter, who is an absolute dog in the NBA, and Devin plays that same style. A little more explosive, I think.
Kings fans are going to love him. A little bit more accomplished, I think, at the offensive end, especially as a three-point shooter, but his length and his point of attack defense is really going to be beneficial to Sacramento. Castle knocks down the second free throw. Deuce, we have a ball game. It's an 8-point contest.
Spurs are shooting 28%. They have to feel good about this at this point. And, yeah, you just got to keep playing. And it starts with what you do on the defensive end, that type of effort. They're bringing it in. You see them. You're starting to see the energy come back in. I think the guy I've been looking at a lot, obviously, is Castle. And to see his progress in game, where he looked a little apprehensive at times early on. Now he's being more aggressive, attacking, taking the three-point shot. I love it.
9 points in the ball game for him, and really impactful at the defensive end. Here's Simpson off the Iverson screen. Got by Castle. One more to the corner. Good closeouts by the Spurs in rotation, and Stevens off the great dime inside for the layup.
Yeah, you had two guys go to the corner there, flying around, but it left Stevens open for that easy look.
Castle showing his handle. Ingram missing the mid-range jumper. Back come the Hornets. Charlotte shooting 39% from the field. Out to Stevens. Okay, so he's got the three ball as well. Stevens dials up a long one. Jake Stevens out of UT Chattanooga. Played with the Capital City Go-Go a season ago with the Washington Wizards G League affiliate.
In his senior year, he shot 40% from three. He's confident doing it. You know, a lot of times, some of these bigs, we think they don't know how to shoot. Sometimes they're not allowed to shoot all the time. And you're seeing his ability. He's not afraid, and it looked pretty good.
Made 240 three-pointers in his collegiate career. 13-point lead. Morgan off the step-up screen. Got to the rim, but couldn't get the layup. Out of bounds, it'll stay at that end. Charlotte basketball. This is the Summer League opener for both these teams. As Cedric Milner Jr. checks into the ball game for the rookie Castle. Seven seconds on the shot clock. Boy, Charles Lee really engaged on the sidelines. Out of bounds and off the turnover. It'll be Spurs basketball. Down with four, with 9 points, getting a breather right now.
Think about what Lee's feeling, just finally getting this opportunity. He's on the sidelines, running the team. He's been grinding for a long time.
Ward with the turnaround, slick move, good footwork. Yeah, back to Lee. You had mentioned the fact that he had been a leading candidate for a head coaching job for a couple of years going now. Spoke with people in Toronto last year, and he was extremely impressive in his interviews there. He eventually gave the job to Rajakovic. And off the miss, here come the Spurs. A chance to cut the lead below double figures. Ward. Milner around the screen, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
You like that rule?
I love it. Nobody wants to see these guys sit.
Yeah. They got to figure it out.
Especially some of the marquee guys, as Jameer Nelson Jr. will check into the ball game to run the point for Bouye. What do you make of Bouye's game so far? You've seen a bunch of him.
You know, he is just one of those guys that I think can come in and run a team. I think the biggest question at the NBA level is just his size, right? You know, and that's what's so crazy is that there's these guys you see at the G League level. They have so much talent. Simpson's got a ton of talent. Beautiful feed there to McGowan's, and you know, Simpson's the same thing. It's not like he's not good. Right. It's can you defend your position at the next level? Can you deal with the speed and physicality? And that's going to be the challenge for some of these smaller players.
Nelson Jr., one of those players, had it knocked away. Comes out to Ingram. Nelson Jr. relocates to the three-point line. Great hustle. Knocked away underneath. Good defense by the Hornets by Slater. McGowan's on the probe. Slater fires. Boy, he started it at the defensive end and couldn't come up with the bucket. Ingram behind the screen. Tough fadeaway. Loose ball, it'll come back to the Hornets. We're going to catch our breath and take a timeout. San Antonio has led from the opening tip. Pardon me, the Hornets have led from the opening tip. Back after the con as the venue will change to Las Vegas. Or really, Deuce, for basketball zealots like us, it's the best time of the year, right? To go there and see players and coaches and front office people and to mingle and to just spend some informal time with them.
It's so fun. I mean, if you're a basketball junkie, you can make the trip. Get on out there. Games all day. You go between Cox Pavilion and Thomas and Mack, and it's fun seeing all the young talent, seeing legends roll through, current guys, like you said. It's a who's who.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Part of the best part of being there is walking in the concourse between the two venues and running into players and coaches and watching games at both venues as well.
How about the growth of it?
Yes.
It's last year was absurd with Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson playing, and there was a legit buzz in the building. It was cool.
It all begins on Friday, July 12th. Nighttime primetime doubleheader on ESPN. 59-44 here, and that ball did a few victory laps, finally went home. It's down to a 14-point game. Spurs hanging on to the rope. Here's Simpson. That pass was coming in a little bit hot. 5 before falling. No. Jameer Nelson Jr. on the cross. Good help defense once again by Gee.
That's a nice player to have on your back line for some help. McConnell was a little off balanced, and Gee flew in there and knocked that out of bounds.
Jameer Nelson Jr. getting into the paint at 6'2". You were talking about the size of some of the guards and some of the players in the G League and some of the smaller guards. You know, sometimes I think there's an unfair bias against shorter guards, Deuce, because we saw during the NBA Finals that sometimes there are even bigger guards that don't guard as well as some smaller guards.
Hey, that's true. And you know, a lot of it too is how long are these guys? And he with another finish, and he's had an amazing night here in his Summer League debut. But yeah, I think it's for these smaller guys, are you going to play physical?
Right.
Do you have some length? It's just tough when you don't have the wingspan, because you can play the greatest defense ever. Guys can just shoot right over the top.
Jameer Nelson Jr. with that last bucket, that rebound a little bit strong. Here come the Spurs on the run. They've got numbers, had a 3-on-2. Inside, the reverse came off. It'll stay at this end, though, with 19.4 to go in the third quarter. You feel like San Antonio, though, is starting to get a little bit more rhythm here. Well, the results haven't quite shown. Getting back to that part about smaller guards defensively, I can remember a time when Chris Paul was a member of the NBA's all-defensive team.
Yep.
Jameer Nelson Jr. with 3 on the clock. Ward with the look for 3. Simpson with a rebound, has a little bit of time. 2 seconds to go. It'll count. Draws the foul at the end of the quarter. And that will be 2 shots.
How about his patience? And that's where you talk about the experience of it. He wasn't rushing anything. He looked at the clock, saw he had enough time, and was able to draw that foul.
It looks like we're going to get our first review.
Is that our first one?
Well, unless there's a Bill Kennedy announcement, it'll be somewhat routine. Let's take a look at the replay to basketball.
They're just playing the right way. The ball is popping, and that's what's encouraging. So many times we talk about individual numbers in the Summer League. Coaches want to just see you play the right way.
Yes. Green hands it off to the wing. 4 on the shot clock for the Spurs. He gets it back. Nice ball fake, and we're going to have a foul underneath against Battle. Let's take that.
Oh, the attack. Just go up strong. He knew there was no real shot blocker there. That 7'4" wingspan. Go up and get that.
Tony Brook and on to Pittsburgh. Milner Jr. from the elbow. Another opportunity for Jameer Nelson Jr. Had two good looks. Simpson on the break. Goes tween, got to the rim. Man, he's slick with it. Simpson with the bucket here this evening. Xavier Simpson. That's going to be knocked out of bounds, coming back the other way. You know, we've been talking about Coach Charles Lee, the first-year head coach on the sidelines for the Hornets. He was actually watching Brandon Miller, his star wing player with USA Basketball select team, a few hours ago in Las Vegas, and got back here courtside to coach his team.
Wow. Well, I'm sure Brandon
He didn't
Miller,
take the bus, okay?
Yeah, I'm sure he was on. I don't know if he was on Southwest either, but I'll tell you what, that's impactful too for a young player. You see your head coach show up like that, and you know Brandon showed up in Sacramento, and you know got some practice with the team, and you could tell he really wants Brandon to take on this leadership role, even as a young player, and for Brandon to embrace that is really encouraging.
Charlotte Hornets under new ownership. And Sophia Jones has a little bit more. Sophia?
You mentioned earlier about Tijan Salon. He's on the bench right now, but he enters the league as a part of the recent influx of French players in the NBA. He was one of 5 Frenchmen selected in this past draft after having an impactful role in the French Pro A and Champions League. But kind of like what you were saying, Deuce, what's most intriguing about him is his upside. He's only 18 years old, making him the second youngest player, and has a raw athleticism that has drawn developmental...
Rookie last season, all off the bench with the Spurs. As Slater comes into the ball game. Battle comes out. We were talking about potential medal finishes in the upcoming Olympics, and spoke to a friend of mine that watched the USA Basketball workout today. He said, and this is a quote, Steph Curry was murdering that closer three-point line for USA. Forgot about that guy.
It's going to be fun seeing him play for Team USA, and what a star-studded team they have.
Morgan with a Curry-like three from way out near midcourt. That's his third one of the ball game.
I like that look from Castle too. Had the defender on his back, created that space, just missed the shot.
Smith behind the Stevens screen. Good defense that time by Bouye. Castle off the drag screen. Good screen by Sissoko. Tough catch in traffic. Sissoko. Well, he worked for that shot. He really worked for it.
I really like Castle's patience with the ball. He doesn't look like he's trying to rush, plays at his speed.
That three a little bit strong, and you see that happen so often at the professional level in the NBA, where guys get to showcase skill sets that they never get to showcase at the collegiate level. Speaks to how well Castle actually played his role at UConn as well. Off the screen from Mensah. Nice slot cut, and one for Sissoko.
That's what I want to see from him. He's a big guy. Go strong to the basket. You may have lost 20 pounds, but you're still strong enough to get to the rim.
They'll go to the free throw line to try and complete the next year. In a competitive, hyper-competitive Western Conference, Deuce, it's always going to be a tough climb up. San Antonio winning just 22 games a season ago, when they're used to, as a franchise, being a mainstay in the playoffs. I think they had a streak of some 22, 23 consecutive years in the postseason. That was snapped a couple of years ago.
Well, they're well on their way with Victor. I mean, it's going to be so fun to see how he continues to evolve, especially going into year 2, seeing some of the highlights from him this summer. Yeah. He's a problem.
He'll be playing for that French national team with Rudy Gobert. Stevens going to go to the free throw line for the Hornets.
And, you know, even watching the Spurs last year, they played the right way. Sometimes they didn't have the shooting, but I felt like they move the ball, they play the right way, they play hard. So you bring a vet like Chris Paul into the fold, another year for those guys together, they should be much more competitive. And the West is just brutal.
Yeah, they were really, San Antonio was about development and evaluation for most of last year. When you think back to Deuce, we all saw Sohan playing point guard, Jeremy Sohan playing point guard, and then he ended up using Trey Jones at that position, and now bringing in Chris Paul in a one-year deal.
You have a coach on the floor now.
Yeah, Greg Popovich has always been fond of using Chris Paul as the template for point guard play for his incoming point guards. Great move inside and a bucket by Matt Morgan. 2 minutes to go in the ball game. Biggest lead of the contest. Castle inside, got it. And there's your first round pick for the Spurs. The rookie out of UConn.
Mark Jones, strong take, the spin, and he's just got the strength. He's able to take a hit. He embraces that contact, finishing with the left. Beautiful kid's 19 years old.
Yeah. Spoke with his trainer, Olin Simplis, down in Los Angeles, says he could be next. Same guy that works out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, amongst other great players in the NBA. Off the screen, Morgan gets it back. And that's going to be kick ball. Shot clock will reset to 14. Milner comes in for Castle. Castle's first game as a pro is over. And his stat line reads 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. What kind of grade would you give him, Deuce, on a scale of 10?
Oh, on a scale of 10, I'll give him a 7. He missed some shots, but I just liked how he played defensively. One, that's just bare minimum. He's going to come out and defend. I don't think that's going to be an issue. His first quarter looked a little apprehensive, a little bit, but once he slowed down and started playing his game, he looked comfortable. And for your first NBA reps to look comfortable, that goes a long way, especially with the ball in his hands. We talk about it. He wants to have the ball in his hands, and he showed he knows how to play make, he knows how to attack, and even knock down a couple of threes.
Really got more comfortable, especially impressive on the handle. You give him a 7. I wish you were marking my college term papers, man.
Is that too high? Am I too high with that?
No,
I'm grading on a curve.
No, you're
it's
right,
first game,
okay.
you know?
Get you on the curve, huh? Stevens knocks down the second free throw. I'd have been magna cum laude if it was you.
What do you give him, like a 5 or a 4?
No, instead I graduated thank you, Lottie, is what I said. Milner with the pass to the corner. That's the first miss of the ball game. Dalovic.
We got a tough professor over here next to me. Mark Jones isn't playing.
1:20 to go in the ball game. A 30-point lead for Charlotte. Meanwhile, for the Charlotte Hornets, who's your standout if you had to pick one?
I thought Guy came out and showed a little bit of everything. And I think as a big nowadays, you have to show some sort of ability to have a perimeter shot.
Right.
And the fact that he knocked down a couple of threes was great. I thought even defensively, I mean, I just looked down. He had 7 fouls too. But you got to have some of that in the summer league. You get 10 of them, might as well use them. But I thought his activity around the rim was fantastic.
Yeah, great. I agree with you on that one. Approaching a minute to play. Battle. Deep pull, knocks down the 3 ball. He's been impressive at times here tonight. Raekwon Battle out of West Virginia. Undrafted in this past June's draft, and A nice surge to the bucket there by Radford.
Got shifty on that one.
Hornets connecting on 16 three-pointers in the ball game. They're plus 30 in the three-point category, and a couple more free throws. They've been great attacking the basket as well.
And that's what's been really impressive about the Hornets, who are, again, a group that all these summer league teams, they get a couple of practices together. And they've looked like they've played the right way with that pace. Getting those paint touches in today's game is everything. And the ball moves around. It's been really nice.
Anytime you're plus 30 on three-pointers, it bodes well for the final outcome. Morgan going to the free throw line. An 87% free throw shooter as the building continues to fill up in anticipation of the second game of our doubleheader between the Sacramento Kings and the Chinese national team. 6 teams will play 3 games over the next 4 days. Galovich with the miss, Stevens with the board. 2-for-1 scenario if the Hornets want it.
You might as well take it.
Yes. You can't take them home with you. There's a sweeping hook shot from McConnell. Stevens got the second tip to fall. Charlotte putting up 97 on the board against the Summer League Spurs. And a slick move there for the bucket.
Also,
Radford.
Only 7 turnovers in a Summer League game? That's unheard of.
Yeah, in an environment where teams usually throw it all over the gym.
Yeah.
So Charles Lee gets his first official win as the sideline boss of the Charlotte Hornets. Erstwhile coach of the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. As Charlotte wins it. And we have the Sacramento Kings coming up next. He, the leading scorer, with 21 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. 5 different players for the Hornets finishing up in double-figure scoring. Meanwhile, for San Antonio, Castle, the impressive rookie out of UConn, the national champ, finishing up with 9 points in the ball game. Pardon me, 12, including 2 of 4 from deep. And we're going to effort a post-game interview here from our sideline reporter, former San Jose State basketball player Sophia Jones, as we go courtside to her now. Sophia?
You guys had a really strong offensive performance, 24 assists, only 7 turnovers. How have your ball movement and pace contributed to this strong offensive performance?
Well, one, we just wanted to get out and run and just get stops. You know, the first thing coach wanted us to do is just get stops, get the rebound, and go out there and play our flow transition offense. Then just playing with pace and then just playing smart on both ends and trying to get as many shots as we can. And, you know, we missed some, made some, but, you know, we came out with a win. So
you started the game strong. You guys were able to hold the lead the whole game. How has this game set the tone for how the rest of the summer is going to be?
Well, it's just a blessing to really just get back out here and play for real. Really just, you know, coach is new, so just getting to learn his system and stuff, you know, getting him to coach us is very good for us, especially good for me, just to get his style. And, you know, he's a very young coach, so very energetic, and, you know, we should be good for the rest of the games, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, the Charlotte Hornets with the win in the first game of the doubleheader here. Coming up next, the Sacramento Kings taking on the Chinese national team. The final score here, 97-65. The big fella got the party started. He ended up with 21 and 5. And he had a lot of help from his friends, with 4 other players ending up in double-digit scoring. We're going to take a short break and come right back to Golden One Center after this.